match to CD or to the USB stick. Create media files, which we just went over. And the create media files is where we wanted to make files of the presentation groups. Show clips is where we make highlight films. Okay, so now we have the view screen, and look under the view screen. We have a button called a new project. So if we choose that, and we'll call this Oglethorpe Highlights, and then we select OK. Okay, so let's take a look at the screen. So we have the new project, we have an open project, that's to open previous projects. Underneath that we have the video project, and we've called it Oglethorpe Highlights. Underneath that we have the particular match that we analyzed, which is Castle PDA 18. Underneath that we have select group. Those are your presentation groups. So there they are once again. And if we select one of those groups, or select all of them, that will bring up your video clips. So we selected all of them, so now we see we have all the video files. Once again, take note of how they are named. And let's just say choose the first one. So now we have the project screen to the left. This is the screen where you're creating the video file.
Okay, now I'm going to select kickoff. Now what am I seeing right now?
Okay, so kickoff, that's actually the first thing that happens in the match. So what you're previewing now is the kickoff. And you have some options there. You can adjust the start and end points.
Okay, the green arrows.
Green arrows by dragging. So if we drag it, now you've created a new endpoint. Exactly, you can drag the cursor back. And that's the same process of dragging the start point to the right. You will create a new start point, and by dragging the endpoint, the second arrow, you create new endpoints. So this is the editing screen. This is where you're previewing what you want to put into the final presentation.
Okay, this is the particular clip I want. Now how do I add that to my project?
Okay, so let's look in the middle of the screen here. Next to our video clips, we have add music. And that's a way of adding music to your project if you want. If we look at add video clip, if we choose that, now that brings that particular video clip over to the final project screen. And if you click on it, it highlights blue, and now it plays it. So this mode is the final project mode. This is where you take clips from the left side of the screen in the editing mode and the selection mode, and you put them to the right side of the screen, which is your final project mode for your highlight film.
Okay, what are these round ovals that say go in, go out, new in, new out?
Okay, so the go to in means go to in point. So if we press that, that goes to the start point or the end point, the beginning of a video file. If we press the other one, go to the out point, that goes to the out point that you made in your editing screen. So you can see the start and end points. Also, you can make new start and end points. Exactly, you can drag it back as well. And by pressing anywhere on the screen with your mouse, it will play it. And if we look underneath, we have new in and new out. If we press new in point, that will actually create a new endpoint at that particular time when the video file is running. And the same with new out point. So that's another way of editing your final project to make sure that the in points and the out points, or the start points and the end points, are going to be exactly what you want, because you want your highlight film to be very precise.
Okay, now how do I bring up number 11 for Castle? We were interested in him.
Okay. So we see where we had all our video clips chosen. So if we look back to the left-hand side of the screen, we have Castle PDA, and then we have all, and we press on the drop-down box. Now that pulls up our selection groups, or our presentation groups of clips. So let's choose Castle number 11. And we had a couple videos for Tom Smith. And press on it, highlights a darker blue, we see the video file is playing in the edit screen. And the same process of dragging the start point, the first arrow, dragging the second arrow, you can create new start and end points. And if that particular clip is something you want to add, if you're ready to add it to your project, then you press Add Video Clip. And now we see it has brought it over to the right hand side of the screen, or the final project screen. So if we go over to the final project screen and we choose the first one, that's the one we just selected. And if we pan down, we see underneath there, we see the video file that is selected, Tom Smith, counter, on target, offensive plus, switch point of attack, all that related to that particular edit. We can insert before the video clip, or we can insert it after. So that kind of gives you an order as you're adding video clips. Now if we choose the second video clip, kick off, switch point of attack, which was the first one we put in, if we select that one, that will play that particular clip. And if we...
Can I add the other Tom Smith clip? I'd like to see both of those.
Okay, so you go back to the left hand side, and now you've chosen the other clip, and now we press Add Video Clip. Okay, so now we've added the second Tom Smith clip in that you wanted. So if we take note underneath those video boxes, those files, look down to the bottom, we see Insert Before Clip and a button called Insert After Clip. So that way when you're in your editing side of the screen to the left, you can determine where you want to insert the new clip, whether you want it before the previous clip or after the previous clip. That's what those are for. Now there's also some arrows there to the right hand side. We notice that we've highlighted Tom Smith, counter, on target. That's the particular clip that we're viewing right now. If we go down to those arrows, and let's say we press the up arrow, now it moves that video clip to the very first clip. It moved it up. If we choose the down arrow, now it moves it back where it was, and one more time it will move it down to the third clip. So this is a way of rearranging your clips and rearranging the order of your clips for your highlight film, which I assume is going to be important to get the arrangement correct that you want.
Okay, so how do I add clips or goals from previous years into my final project?
Okay, so anything that you analyzed through Interplay is always saved, and the particular file name will be saved. Say goal, it will always be under chance type. So the information is always in the database. So if we go to the left hand side of the screen again, on the edit project side, we see we have Castle PDA. We click on that drop down box. Now we can choose, say, Oglethorpe Highlight, which was another game analysis you've done. And now we have the entire groups of clips. And I see here that at 9:19 there was a goal scored. We see GOA. So we choose that particular clip. On the project side, we see the goal. And the same process of editing. So now we can take that clip and add it over in the Add Video. Okay, and we see where it's highlighted goal. And we notice that it's inserted after the previous clip. And if we click on it, we can review that goal. And if we pause the video file there, now we can go to New Out, the one underneath, and that's where the video file will end. So your editing is the same there. You can make new endpoints and new out points. You can go to the endpoint. If we press Go to In, toward diagonally to your left, now it goes to the beginning of the clip. We press anywhere on the video file, it'll play it. and it will stop where we just made that new go to out point. Okay, any questions on that?
No, it's very simple. Thank you.
Okay, so now what you can do, if you look in the run from start, that will go through all the video clips in your project and you can review them. So let's press run from start. And now it chooses the first video clip that you've chosen, and it will play it and you can review all of them. So if we press pause on the video screen, we'll just pause that. And now let's go down and make the project. If we press run from start again, that will exit the run from start process. And now let's choose create video project. Okay, so now we have a new pop-up screen. We have the project screen to the left, and of course to the right we have the final project.
So what exactly am I seeing at this point?
Okay, so to the right we have the final project again, where we have the video files that you've chosen on the right hand side, and then to the left hand side we have the project side of the screen. And now we can choose particular file formats. So if we look at new project, and we have open project, underneath that the video project, which is the Oglethorpe highlights. To the right hand side of the screen we have the video type. So if we select that particular box, you can choose AVI, which is a very standard file format, WMV, which is great for uploading to websites, iPod, MP4, which is great for playing on Mac or Mac-based computers. Also very good for syncing to iPod, MPEG, animated GIF, and Flash. So you can choose any file format you like.
Okay, I think we'd definitely like to stick with MP4 because I'd like to sync that to my iPod for our scouting reports, and I know our players would love having that on all their iPods, especially the highlights.
Okay, perfect. So if we go back to the right hand side of the screen, now we're ready to create the project. We press start process, and now it tells you not only where it's going to be in your computer, but you can give it a name.
Probably the same movie that we had.
If you like. Okay, and if we save it, and now it's creating the project. So this will take a few minutes to create, and then when it's done, you can play the project.
Okay, now what am I looking at now?
Okay, so this is an MP4 file, and MP4 files are played by a system called QuickTime. So this is reviewing your final project. It's actually playing it, so you can review it.